Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is DJ the Money Coach coming to you live in Zanzibar. That's right, baby. We're bringing you paradise. We got 20 investors right here in Zanzibar, and you're next. And all you got to do is hit that link. Come join us in paradise.
All right. What's going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Family Finance Friday with the DJ, the Money Coach team. Yeah, so you may not see the team captain, DJ, the Money Coach, but remember, this is a team and this is a system. So you are live with the DJ, the Money Coach team and system. So welcome to another Friday night episode where we go into finance, family finance. And before we get started, as always, we want you to like this video, share, and subscribe to DJ the Money Coach right here on YouTube so we can help spread the gospel of the pom-pom lifestyle to all the corners of the world. And the pom-pom lifestyle is plenty of money, peace of mind, and we want you to come join us on the beaches of the World Club. And tonight's beach is financial freedom for your child. You see the title of the video, how to get your child a six-figure net worth by age 23. And I'm joined by none other than the young protege, aka King Capital Ty Green. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, Nick? It's amazing to be here tonight with you, and it's amazing to be here tonight with the people. Shout out to our whole entire community that's rocking and rolling with us, because as y'all know, we're doing big things. We are taking over the world. We're taking over the U.S. We're taking over Zanzibar, and we're really bringing financial education to our people and all of the middle class at a very high level. So I'm super excited to talk to y'all tonight, that y'all are here rocking and rolling with us. So as Nick has introduced me, I am, among other things, the president of our youth operations here at DJ the Money Coach. And I mean, that was a real fancy way of saying what I really do is we're showing your children, right? Not just your children, your brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews. We're showing them how to be financially free in America as children. Because a lot of the times people think that, you're not going to reach a certain pinnacle of success, at least financially, until you reach a certain age or once you do these milestones. But it's really about what you're being shown and what knowledge is being poured into you to be able to compete at a high level. And that's just plain and simple. And let me tell you why. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. So, formally, my background, I'm from New York. I grew up in the city. I grew up in an urban neighborhood. A lot of music, arts, culture, fun times, but fast times. And the community ideals weren't focused on academic or financial success. It was a lot of fashion, a lot of music, a lot of culture, a lot of living in the moment. So that was a lot of my upbringing, right? Now, my family, of course, instilled in me the values of hard work, determination, going out, doing your thing, saving money, the whole nine. But at the end of the day, what you're seeing ends up taking a huge effect on you. So for me, I ended up moving to a suburban neighborhood where I was then around a bunch of upper middle class people, and I saw the complete differences in lifestyle between where I grew up and how that town and city was. And a big thing that I noticed is their children getting started early, getting started in sports early, getting excellent grades in academics early and doing their thing. So by time, and I was 17 at this time, by the time we turned 18, we were going to college. A lot of people already had full ride scholarships. A lot of parents had financially planned for them. So they had college funds set aside. They had a car and money set aside for them to go to school. They had about a 780 credit score because their parents had been putting them as authorized users on their card. That's a quick gem for y'all. They had been putting them as authorized users on their card since they were 10 years old. So by the time we were 7, they were already ready to go. So once I got there and I got over the initial culture shock of being in somewhere completely different, I started to take notes and I started to look around and see, like, okay, this is how things are running here. This is the structure. These people are winning. And then I was like, okay, well, why? And I'm like, okay, they have networks, they have access, and they have and money. Those are the things, 2 things, access and money. And a lot of people, it was just the access because people put on the image up front that they have a lot of money, but we all know it's images, right? Everyone's trying to keep up. But what the real thing is access. So once I started to realize and see all of this, I'm like, okay, how do I give myself now at 17 what I didn't get from 0 to 16? So I started reverse engineering it. I went out and I bought every book that you could think of, from Rich Dad Poor Dad to Powernomics, on financial literacy. And I began really teaching myself step by step and getting how to understand finance. So by the time I graduated and I got to college, I was on my college campus, number one, interning on every single club, getting connected with all of the teachers and all the staff. So I had opportunities presented in front of me, and I got strategic on the internships that I'd be able to take on, right? And I'm doing all of this for a couple of reasons. Number one, when you're at college, everybody brands to you, go to college, take out $30,000, $40,000 in debt, have the time of your life, because after that, you're going to work till you die. But that's not the paradigm. And we don't have to keep saying that. And to be honest, it's an old narrative. And when you keep spewing this to the children, they go out and do this. And then the results that they get, they're like, oh, I thought I was going to come out and make 85,000, but I only make 40. And now I have $80,000 of debt. What am I supposed to do? Then everybody's looking around like, not sure. Biden's talking about canceling the student loan debt, but I mean, as you see, that's held up in litigation. So wait for it. So what we have to do is we have to get preemptive in deciding our children and our family's future. So for me, while I was in school, like I said, I'm making connections. I'm all over campus. I'm getting internships because I'm making sure I maximize my time at this school because I'm spending money to be here. So of course, I'm still having fun. I'm going out and enjoying things, but I'm making sure I make the most value out of my time there. And I still made a lot of mistakes. I was still learning, so I made a lot of financial mistakes, ran up my credit cards, spent money all the time going out, having gourmet dinners. Y'all know the cafes and the college campuses are $1 million a meal, and I was getting a meal for everything because I'd have my class structure sometimes to be at school all day. So I'd be in the morning, get a gourmet breakfast, get a nice lunch, grilled chicken sandwich, burger with fries, some dessert at it, and then if I was there too late too, I'd get dinner. And that was running up at least $20, $30 per meal. So as you add that up as a college student, and I was working at a supermarket at the time, I wasn't making a lot of money, right? So I go ahead and I'm like, okay, I'm on this campus all the time. What am I going to do? I go to my local grocery stores and I start buying some candy and snacks and treats because the vending machines were pricing like a Snickers bar like $3. And I'm like, all right, we're going to buy this wholesale from the store where if you break out the numbers, I pay really like 70 cents Snickers. So I can sell it for $1.50 and still make money, or $2. And it's still cheaper than what's in the vending machine. So I started doing that, right? I started buckling down on my financial habits. I'm like, okay, all right, I know I really want this burger, but maybe I should just get the fries. And maybe, matter of fact, tomorrow, let me start cooking. And I didn't know how to cook, but I started teaching myself how to cook, going to the supermarket, trying to take my lifestyle and make it cheaper so I could save more money. And then as I'm doing all of this, I'm still doing well in my classes. I'm still connecting with my professors and my peers, and I'm making sure I'm landing strategic internships in high-paying fields that are going to make a way for me. So by the time I graduate, I can graduate and get a job or making great money where I can start immediately investing, right? And I gave you guys that backstory of me before I was talking about the children because I want you guys to know everything is possible. When I tell people my story and I tell them what I do for a living now, which right now I'm a financial analyst in private equity, analyzing multi-billion-dollar options, and I'm only 24 years old, and I've been doing this now for 3 years. So you do the math there. When I tell people this, they're like, there's no way, you know, they're expecting people see me or they hear me, they expect me to be in my early 30s, and they expect me to have this at this certain pinnacle of life to have done this. And I'm like, no, it's just about what you're exposed to and what's in your mind, what's in your network. Now, as I was growing up, I was a young teen going and becoming a young adult. I made a lot of mistakes. I did all the crazy stuff that young teens do, but I kept my mind centered with the right stuff and where I wanted to go. So I just wanted to give you guys that example to show what I'm about to tell you that your children do, right? Because we're going to get them started earlier than I did. They're not going to wait till 17. They're going to start at 10. They're going to start at 8, 7, 6. When I tell you guys what they'll be able to do, I want you guys to know that it's true because I gave you context and told you what I was able to do at 17, right? So that is who I am, and that's what we're going to talk about. And nigga's going to play a video for you guys, and then we're going to get into it.
All right. And then after the video, you know, I got a couple of, you know, heard a couple of things that I'll respond to before we get into the bullet points. But here's the video.
Investment course. It's amazing. With that help, I made my own stock portfolio. I love it. Now it's making me money. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. What are you waiting for? Just do it.
And we back. You saw that video from the Crusher. You saw him. He was about 9 years old there. He's now about 15, 16. And well, when I tell you, oh man.
Yeah, man. So Tajir, before you get into your 5, and then you also have to mention that, you know, tell them who Crusher is first, and then I'll respond to some of the things you mentioned in your backstory.
I got you. So the lovely young man that you all just saw, that is the Crusher. That is DJ's son, right? He was 9 years old then. Now, I'm gonna give you a little bit of his resume and speak him up because he's not here to talk to himself. So I want to say he was about 7 years old. He went to a conference and outsold a professional adult salesperson and got, I believe, 250 leads or so in one day.
Wow.
250 leads that turned into paying clients, right? Put up a business typing because his typing speed is like 112 words a minute or something like that. he started up a business typing and was helping business owners type up their copy and build out their web and web design and marketing and stuff and keep everything consistent. And it was paying him on a regular basis. And he was doing that at 12, 13, right? And then one of the sweetest ones of them all, he has a dividend stock portfolio, definitely in the high figures right now, of stocks that he was able to pick and analyze himself, that he saw the value in them before a lot of people did, and got major stocks while they were still low, like, what is it, Logitech, which is the educational toys and programming for children, the company that makes that.
Yep, the headphones and all of that, the microphones. Yep.
He told him, he said, Dad, hey, this stock is going to be a great buy. This product is everywhere to push them on the kids. And I was like, hey, I don't know, but if you trust it, because I told you how to analyze these statements. So he went, analyzed the financial statements, read about the company, read about what they're doing, what their current business model is, where they're looking to go. And he thought it was a great buy, and he executed it. And it is paying him handsomely right now. And he was only 9 at that video. Now he's about 15. So
right. Yep.
Y'all see the title.
Yep. Yeah. So you'll be showing them how they can do this, showing the people's children out there how to do the same thing. And also to mention, Crusher also edits videos and creates YouTube thumbnails too. You know, so he got the entrepreneurial bug very, very early. So, you know, this can be your child as well. So before you get into your first bullet point about how your child can earn a 6-figure net worth, just a couple of things stood out to me about your backstory, and you might end up touching on a couple of these points when you go over your three top things that parents and children can do. So one thing that you mentioned was the importance of the mindset, having the right mindset first about money before you go into talking about saving, investing, or anything with money. You had to get your mindset right. Also, you mentioned studying and reading a lot. You devour books, you consume, lots of information about finance and money. You did your study. You emphasize the importance of networking and using the resources that are available to you. Because one thing, because I have a college degree also, and one thing that I noticed about college is that professionals, your professors on campus, even the professionals that come to your campus, they love talking to college students and giving college students opportunities to sit with them and absorb information. It's not necessarily the same once you're out of college and you're an adult. Once you become an adult, they might say, well, yeah, I'll talk to you, but it's going to cost you. But as a student, you have those resources available to you, and you got to take advantage of them.
100%.
You talked about the importance of being proactive.
Yeah.
Talked about catching that entrepreneurship bug early. And, the last thing that I mentioned, you also conduct, the all-star meetings, like the risk tolerance questionnaires. And, you look over our partners and our clients' budget sheets. And one thing that you emphasize is, or that we emphasize with this system, is cutting the fat. And that's something that you did in college. You didn't necessarily downgrade your lifestyle, but you looked at your budget, what you were spending money on, what you were spending too much money on, and you cut the fat. So those are the things that stood out to me. So if you want to respond to any of those things, you can, or otherwise you can jump into your first thing that children can do to get their 6-figure net worth.
Oh yeah. So when a lot of what you had mentioned, I'm actually going to get to when I go into my points, but a couple of things that you said. So number one, about being proactive. You have to be, and this is a phrase that one of my mentors taught me that I'm going to give to everyone else. You have to get ahead of the ask, right? You have to get proactive in what kind of future you want to build. And that's for yourself and that's for your family, right? So if you're an adult watching, you're like, okay, I have a child, they're a teen or they're a young kid. I ideally want them. You need to get ahead of that. You can't wait till they get 11, 12, 13 years old to start maybe bringing up something about money or, I'll do this when they have time. Heard a couple of things over the last couple of days. And one of the things, the kids have to make sure they're able to sit down and do this. You have to get proactive. So you have to give them an incentive and a reason to sit down so they can start taking and receiving information so they can start thinking ahead. So by the time you get to this turning point where you would have assumed something has been accumulated in terms of a body of knowledge or money or whatever else, you can actually meet that goal because you got working on it before. You have to get ahead of and stay ahead of the ass. That's number one. Number two, again, emphasizing on the college point, right? When kids are at college, they need to be networking on campus and taking advantage of people that want to give back. It's like Nick said, once you get a certain age, it's like, hey, man, you on your own. And if you need some help, I can help you. But here's the fee. And that's what it is. You literally have a chance to get high level training and experience for free while having fun. And you got to take advantage of that. That is major gem. And then on cutting out the fat
too. Yeah, you use each other too, like your classmates and your friends, as resources too. Yep, because that gets harder. That gets harder at the college too. Staying connected with the people you went to school with. So yeah, you gotta use each other as resources in networking.
That's the last time you're going to be forced to being around a group of people every day or every other day, and you have to take advantage of that. Because once you're not in front of that anymore, if you haven't built a kind of go-getter attitude and have a spirit to go out and find people to talk to, it's going to be hard to make connections. And as if you guys don't know, it's not about always what you know, it's who you know. Because even if you know a little bit, if you know the right person, you can be put in a position to know more and to do more, right? But you don't get there unless you're making connections. So I just wanted to speak on those really quick because those are some major points. So anybody that has children right now in college, that's what they need to be doing. All right. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the first step in getting your child a six-figure net worth by 23 is number one. We have to start framing their minds to be active. When I mean be active, this is what I mean. We have to stress the importance of skill. They need to understand the importance of getting a hobby and working at that hobby until they're an expert. And when I say a hobby, I mean a hobby. I don't just mean sports. It can be sports, but a lot of the times, these are the numbers. Most people are not going to be the next NFL player, next NBA player, next major tennis player, next major golfer. That's just the numbers. And that's fine, right? Because they need to be met up with hobbies that they can practically access, that they can do over and over again so they can become an expert. Why? You need to do that, number one, because it trains their mind to be consistent and to keep hitting at something and not give up as soon as things get a little tough. Number two, as they watch their own growth in getting great at whatever it is, this gives them confidence for what they can do and take the same method and apply to things outside of this one hobby or skill, right? And that's the importance of getting a skill early. And then number three, actually having the skill, and they have it as a presentation tool, because when you talk about social awkwardness, when you talk about finding your place in a group and finding your place in a world, it is tremendously easier to do that when you have something that you can say that you're great at, right? And that could be anything. That could be, take some examples from the kids we were just working with in the class. I had some kids in there that was excellent painters, right? Excellent artists. They like to draw, right? Excellent jewelry makers, right? One of the students in my class, she's a jewelry maker. She makes bracelets. She actually made me a few bracelets. She is excellent at this. I watched her, because I know her personally. I watched her begin making jewelry from just the rubber bands she would take 1 million of these tiny rubber bands, right? And at first she just put them on the wrist, then she put a couple, then she just do a little bit. Then she started to get intricate and put a tool in and started to frame them and make these intricate designs. And then she was able to start doing that with small, inexpensive jewelry, start intertwining jewelry and thread to make this amazing kind of garments, the word I'm looking for, jewelry, like how you hang it on. And I watched her get great at this, and I watched how this phrased and shaped her mind and how she started applying this to things elsewhere. Because you guys know, and if you didn't know, it takes about 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. That is the minimum amount of time required to become an expert at something. And then how do we know that? We reference our child prodigies, right? You reference the Serena Williams, who is an expert in tennis. You reference the Simone Biles, who is an expert gymnast. You reference the Tiger Woods, who's an expert golf player. And you reference the John W. Rogers of the world, who is an expert investor because he started investing money when he was a little boy to where he was able to start his own investment company. I'm going to plug him in there, Ariel Investments, in his early 20s. And that's the value of getting a skill, because you can get started early. You don't have to wait until you're 25, 26, because you already have the mindset and you already understand hard work. Okay, that's number one, getting those skills and start building that up. And they overall understand how to value things in hard work, because, you know, we live in a microwavable society at this point, and technology frames a lot of the way we think. In a way that we're able to get things instantly on the smartphone, we begin to apply that to the rest of our lives. Okay, hey, the same way I click and I get my link and I'm able to do this, I should be able to do this here. And when we're not able to do that, especially with young children, they don't build the critical thinking skills to be able to delay gratification and work through problems. But when they are focused on learning a skill and becoming great at something, it teaches them to become a problem solver, to gradually get things done. And every time they reach a setback, figure out, why did I get set back? And then take what they're doing and 10x it. Okay? That is step number one. Getting your children 6-figure net worth by 23. Skills. They need to get a hobby. It could be anything. They could be painting. They could be drawing. They could be web designing, right? Anything, but they need to get a hobby and find something to do consistently so they can get great at it.
Yep. And it sounds like something that, you know, not only that they're great at, but something that they also love too. So, you know, adults are bad for this. Adults have the bad habit of, you know, going into careers that they hate, jobs that they hate, even if they pay well. But you have to understand, especially with entrepreneurship, you can make just about anything into a business, you know, and that's something that, you know, we can emphasize and teach to the children, you know, to, you know, set that foundation for the future. So, yep, get them started early, start small and let it grow.
Yeah. Look, you don't get caught in going to a job that you hate when you know how to make money from when you're 13 years old, because you get the most important and powerful thing in this world. You get a choice. You get to choose what you would like to do, because you have a skill set and you have the mindset, so you have options. But when you don't get proactive and get ahead, you don't have options. So you have to take what's given to you. And as parents, when you see your children that love certain things that you might think have no value in making money, they might love making these cars, they might love putting together these little sculptures, and you're like, oh, you need to do something. Allow them, feed them to keep doing those things, because it could be anything. You could be making ships and bottles like they used to do. Who would have, if there wasn't a concept and you told someone, hey, you can make $1 million by selling small model ships in a bottle? People say there's no way nobody would buy that, but people buy it every day of the week, right? They would have told the girl that I know that you need to stop doing this bracelet stuff and focus on some more stuff. she wouldn't be an excellent jewelry maker, and she wouldn't be able to make money selling jewelry right now. So you have to feed their habits, feed the things that they're interested in, and push them to keep going and going and going. So now as they get older, they're doing what they love and they have choices.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, well, let's go to a break, and then when we come back, we'll be back with number 2. What to do next to get your child a 6-figure net worth by age 23. You're watching Family Finance Friday with the DJ the Money Coach team, and we'll be right back.
What's up, everybody? Tajir here, president of the Young Gold Stars Financial Academy here at DJ the Money Coach, and I'm super excited to talk to you about what we have in store for the youth. So we're going to be going over the basics of financial literacy to get them ready. We're going to go over the big 4: money, personal finance, business, and entrepreneurship. We're going to show them how to read those financial statements so they can build up their portfolios, stocks, dividend stocks, growth stocks, so on. We're going to show them how to manage their money with the 4 envelopes program. We're going to go over insurance and much, much more. So your children, your nieces, nephews, sons, daughters, brothers, cousins, they need to be in this program, and they need to be in this program right now so they can knock it out the park. So click that link, sign up, and we'll see your kids next Saturday in class. Woo!
All right, and we're back. We're back with Family Finance Friday, and we are talking about how to get your child a 6-figure net worth by 23, which you gotta love. So go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. So Tajir already gave you number 1 before the break. Frame your child's mind to be active. Encourage them to pick up those skills that can become marketable later on down the line. So Tajir, hit them with number 2.
All right. So number 1 is they just have to understand the importance of skills. Now we're going to talk about number 2. Number 2, they have to understand the value of a dollar. And I know this is a saying that we've all heard in our families. I understand the value of the dollar, but we're going to take a little bit of a different approach to it, right? So number 1, you have to start having conversations about money, and then having these conversations early and being honest, and so they can start understanding, okay, as an adult, you have to pay for the roof over your head. You have food costs, you have utilities, you have transportation costs, you have living costs, right? Being able to go out, go on vacation, go anywhere, have money in your pocket to go spend and have any sort of leisure time, right? You got to pay for the clothes on your back, pay for your shoes, got to go to work and pay to get to work. They have to understand all of the things that affect their lives, because the topic that most families take when it comes to money is they don't talk about it, right? Or they talk about it when a child gets of a certain age, and at that point, they're really not interested. Why? Because they've heard the conversations and absorbed a lot of the bad money management habits that they see around them. Because this is the data. A majority of teens, 55%, say that they've heard their parents argue about money within the last 30 days. And a third, 33%, agree that their parents spend money on things that they don't need instead of supporting the family. So when you think that they're not listening and that they're not, it's not that serious or they could wait, they're listening. They hear every conversation. And you can't fault yourself for having serious conversations and you try to be quiet, but the kids can still hear. What you do is you can counteract the negative things that they may see or hear and start pouring into them the values of understanding money and how money is going to work mechanically and practically in their lives, because they're not going to get this anywhere else. 41% of teens said they did not have any financial literacy classes in high school. 54% of teens right now are worried about financing their futures, right? And teens on average today score 64% on the national financial literacy test, which is well below the actual passing grade of 70%. And as we just talked about it, college, about 40% said that having a better understanding of how student loans would work would help them ease their concerns with how they're going to be able to pay their loans back. Right. So these conversations, being able to have these conversations, understand money in a practical sense of reality pays dividends. Why? Because it stops them from making ridiculous decisions down the line. So how do we do that? So first of all, we have to, number one, start, like I said, having conversations about money. Number two, we have to start, when we're giving gifts, when it's Christmas time, or we're giving out items and we're like, oh, we'll get you this toy set, we'll get you this. No, we need to start replacing that with financial gifting, dividend stock, right? That's the best gift you can give your child for Christmas, is some stock, and especially a dividend stock. Why? Because as they watch that stock pay them dividends on a quarterly basis, right? As a young child, that's going to start framing their money. Oh, hey, I just made $3 a share, right? And I didn't do anything, just in the stock that grandpa got me. Okay, let me start figuring out how can I keep doing this? How can I make more money while doing nothing, right? They start to see a portfolio. And I spoke of Crusher earlier. That's what he did. He started understanding the value of dividend stock early, which made him get into it and start analyzing stocks. So he started to want to build his portfolio himself. And the biggest part about that was that he was interested in it. Why? Because he saw it and he saw the value. He saw the money hit the account and he said, I can do this, because he knew the mechanics, right? So we have to start gifting our kids financial gifts and stocks for Christmas so they can start understanding that, right? And then from there, they have to start understanding that money is a currency, right? We think of money in this pure end all be all sense, but money is a currency. And what does a currency mean? A currency means it flows. So what does that mean? The money should flow and go out and make more money. So we have to change this paradigm. We don't go out and work to pay bills. We go out and make money to go make more money, because money flows and grows. Flatline. When you start to understand that and you drill that concept in your head, it changes the idea of what you believe is possible and what can be done. You guys see these all the time. You hear this money was sold. Mayel Organics. Everybody's upset about this right now on the internet, because that is the company that made the hair care products that specialize in black hair, and they just sold the Procter & Gamble for, I can't remember the number of the transaction, but more than like in the high millions or billions. But that was value created from scratch, because they built the business and they understood, right, that money is flowing. So whatever the transaction number was, that transaction number was probably more money than that business had grossed or profited over its entire lifetime, right? And that was value created immediately. Let's say for the last 3 or 4 years, their annual income might have been $200 million, right? They might have sold for, say, let's throw a number out there, $8 billion. That sale amount was more money than they probably saw over the life of their company. Why? Because that was value that was created. Because money flows and grows. It's not stationary. It doesn't stay in one place. And it's either going to flow into your pocket or flow out of your pocket. One or the other. You choose one, right? And money, that's why we talked about skills, because once they start to understand skills, they start to realize that, again, money is a medium of exchange. It is something that we accept as payment because it's valuable. But if you have a skill, that can be your medium of exchange. As this little term called sweat equity. And that's how a lot of people got equity in businesses and deals that they weren't able to afford, but they had a skill that they were able to make valuable and turn it into something that had enterprisable value. But when they understand that money is a currency and they can use their skills that they just learned to function as a currency along with their money, them way ahead, because now they're able to negotiate and operate on a super high level. And then when we talked about just the practicality of it, so we were a bit in the stratosphere. Let's come back down to the everyday person. Let's talk about the practicality. That's managing every dollar that comes in your pocket. So we have this program, which I'm going to share with you guys, the gem for y'all this Friday. We have the 4 envelopes program. So number one, every dollar that comes in their pocket. And we're going to show you how you're going to enforce it. So when your kids ask you, okay, mom, dad, can you get me the new PlayStation? Can you get me some new sneakers? Can you get me this, that, and the third? You got to ask, okay, so let me see your envelopes. So when I say envelopes, is what I mean. So number one, investments, right? Every dollar they get, 50 cents needs to be set aside for investments. Why? because the primary reason we make money is to go out and make more money. So they're going to allocate 50 investments. All right, next. You're going to allocate 30 cents towards savings because you have to save. You need an emergency fund and you need cash on hand that you could use anytime for an emergency or just anything else, be able to take care of business. Okay. Then you have to set aside 10 cents for charity. Why? Because as you grow and you become bigger and better than you formerly were, there are still people out here that are in need and are in need of some help. So you set aside 10 cents of charity to help the community, to help everybody elevate together. And then, last and surely least, you set aside 10 cents for spending. All right, this is the money. Okay, you want to go buy this, buy something that really has no real future value for you. It's a quick purchase. It's something that'll make you happy in the short term. You set aside 10 cents for that because at the end of the day, we still need it. We're humans, right? And you enforce this because every time they ask you for something, every time they want to go somewhere or do something that requires you to spend money, you say, okay, what have you been doing in your 4 envelopes program? How much money do you have in your envelopes? What have you done with it? And they're going to start connecting that with, okay, all right, if I want to go do this, I want to go out and party with my friends. I want mom and dad to give me some money to go here or let me go on this trip. How my 4 envelopes look? I need to make sure my 4 envelopes are right. And I went out and did what I was supposed to do with them. And that's going to be like, okay, so now I know I have to do the envelope program. So then it gets them into this is something that I have to do anyway. Let me learn and get what I'm really doing. Okay, I have to invest 50 cents. But where am I going to invest it? All right, let me go on the internet and look up some stocks. But like, what stocks? I don't know. Oh, wait, I play PlayStation has stock. Let me look up PlayStation stock. Okay, let me buy some PlayStation stock. Boom. They bought the PlayStation stock. I don't know about the specific stock. They may or may not pay dividends, but that's dividends in their account. That's appreciation. And they're going to say, I'm doing well. And they're going to keep doing it. Or they're going to say, oh, this investment isn't doing well. I need to get into another one. And then when they get into other one, they're going to say, oh, wait, what is the qualities that made that first investment bad that I don't do those, that this next one I pick will be the complete opposite. So you inadvertently force their brains to start working and pushing towards how to effectively manage their money. And you do it in a simplistic way that's so insidious that they don't even realize that they're learning and becoming greater by the moment. Right? So you do that all on a 4 envelopes program. And you put these all together. And over time, as they get older, they realize the value of every dollar that comes in their pocket because of the framework that was set up around them and the things that were taught to them. So now when it's their own choice of whether they're going to go in the store and ball out or they're going to go and buy some stock, they're going to opt to buy the stock because they understand how the stock influences their life. And that's number 2 for you. So you have to understand the value of the dollar.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, a couple things came to mind and a couple of questions too. One thing that came to mind about the stocks, I think in the future show we should give our parents and give our families out there some steps on how to set all of that up. As far as setting up brokerage accounts, custodial accounts and things like that. So that might be something good for us to talk about in the future show, just in case they're wondering, how do I get started with that? How do I do that? Another thing that stood out to me is that you actually show physical envelopes. You didn't, this isn't electronic where you're, electronically moving, money from an account to a virtual envelope or to another account. So why don't you, emphasize and tell the people the importance of using physical envelopes rather than doing it electronically?
It's the same reason why, y'all all do this because you're adults. When you want to cut back, you use your debit card and you start using cash. You don't use your credit card. Why? Because when you credit card, mentally you're writing this off because it's all happening electronically. and this is a credit that's extended to you. So you don't take it as seriously. And that's the same format as why we use physical envelopes and not just do it online. When you have the cash in your hand and you put the cash in these envelopes and you look at the cash coming in and out of here, as you keep looking at this, as you look at your investments folder, and you say you got $500 in there at the end of the month, you see $500 and you see the envelope getting a little thick. And you're like, I need to do something with this. This is money that could go out and make me more money. It freshes you because it makes it real. When it's electronic, it's all behind the screen and it feels like electronic, like it's not real, it's intangible. But when you have it physically, the physical envelope with the physical cash in there, it makes it real to you, and it makes the stakes higher because you're like, hey, I got real cash in here that I need to make sure I'm managing. And like I said, it's the same thing why when you as an adult cut back, you start using your debit card or you start using cash, because it's different when you just swipe the card, swipe your credit card, and you pay for something for $15 because you're like, whatever, it's electronic. But when you take that $15 out of your wallet and you put that on the counter, you feel that, because that's $15 cash out of your pocket, and you feel that in that moment. You don't wait to the end of the month and look at the statement and say, oh, I went over. You like, oh, I just went over right now. How do I make sure I could do this as least as possible? So that's why we go physical and not digital.
Beautiful, beautiful. And just one more thing about, this point number 2, understanding the value of a dollar. This goes against the mindset or the narrative that money, or talking about money, is strictly an adult thing, and that we just need to let kids be kids and enjoy their childhood, because I think that's the narrative that we've been given, growing up,
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you speak to that, and the importance of changing that mindset, that it's okay for children to know about the finances in the household, and that it doesn't, take away from their childhood, learning about money and how much, mom and dad are spending on bills and groceries and things in the household.
Right. Yeah. So now, first, you don't have to get realistic with the numbers, because kids don't know how to keep their mouth shut. So you don't want them to go to school and say, hey, my mom and dad pay $2,000 a month for rent. You don't got to say the exact number, okay? Disclaimer. You don't got to say the exact number, but you do need to talk to them about it. Why? Because as the study showed, right, 55%, they're already hearing you talk about it. So when you think you're having a private conversation, you think you're in the back on the phone, or you went in the room and locked the door so they don't hear you discussing, all right, how is this bill going to get paid? They still hear it. They just don't say anything. Number one. Number 2, they still see when you go out and you guys are shopping and you keep swiping up the card. They're watching you do that. They're watching it anyway. They don't say anything because they don't have a specific angle to attack it with, but they absorb all of this, right? And then all of the stuff they see around them, they see their friends, families, cousins going crazy, spending money. They're absorbing naturally bad money management habits around them in the first place. So when you say they let them be kids, let's not talk about money, they're already receiving something back, counteract something good. You have to show them, all right, this is what you need to think about as you get older, and keep in mind when you get older, this is the amount of money you're going to need to have to be able to live. So that starts to apply to them for everything that they do. So when they get $100 and $200 for Christmas, they start making it realistic. Oh, hey, all right, if I want to get my snacks and my things over the next couple of months, I'm going to need to save my money. Why? Because they start to think about it how mom and dad reference it, that you have a list of expenses and stuff that you need to do. That's number 1. Number 2, they start understanding, okay, dang, I'm going to have to spend money all the time to live. I can't just be a hermit. I'm going to have to spend some money. So how do I make it so I always have money coming in, so that as I keep spending money to afford my lifestyle, it's not going to, put me in a detriment? Then that's when they start getting onto the value of investing, because they start to realize, I can't save my way to wealth. I can't low live my way to wealth. If I want to become wealthy, I got to put my money to work to have the cash flow continuously coming in. And when you give them these concepts early, they're able to apply that in real time to their lives. And that helps with a lot of things, but big of all, their confidence. Because this is what happens. A lot of people are normal, or they may even be a superstar, super popular. But Nick, you know, once high school is over or once college is over, they start to fizzle out because a lot of it is they don't understand how and where they fit in the world. And a big part of that is money. Because if they don't have a skill that they're elite at, or they don't have financial backing from family that has significant pockets to back them, they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to figure everything. I don't know. So what happens? They start getting insecure. I'm not gonna go out to networking events because I don't have too much money in my pocket to go network. So I need to just stay home, right? And most people, when things get rough, they don't expand to do more, they contract. Most people, when they get into a financial crisis, you spend much less money. You say, oh, I can't buy that. I can't go here. I can't go out, can't do this. And when you contract, you lessen your opportunities to meet people and do things that are going to get you to the next level. So we want to avoid all of that and avoid them going through that process and having to get hit over the head, because as everybody knows, because families are saying, I don't want to talk about money with the kids and want them to be kids. You try to have these conversations. If you do even have them by the time they're 17, 18, and at that point, they've already absorbed all of the bad money management habits they've seen and heard around them. So as you're kind of trying to tell them, it's a little late. And they're like, yeah, I hear you. But, you know, this is what's been instilled in my mind. So even if I appreciate and respect what you're saying, it's still going to be so hard to hear what you're saying in this one moment as I'm now 17, 18 versus what I've seen and heard my entire life.
Right, yeah. And you also notice that kids, they, especially when they're really young, they they literally think money literally grows on trees. So they'll ask for this and that, and then that's when parents bring up money. That's when they start mentioning, oh, we can't afford this, or oh, you got McDonald's money.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's why it's important also, because they're going to think that money is in an endless supply. So
it's either going to be an endless supply, or they're going to absorb the pessimistic behavior attitude that it's never going to be enough. Oh, you hear that? Hey, you got McDonald's money enough times, you're going to be like, want to live like a hermit. And I'm here to tell you guys, I know y'all don't want to hear it, but you cannot save your way to wealth. You're not going to make $1 million putting your money in CDs paying you 0.0000006%. It's not going to happen. You have to take some risk, and you have to go out and take risks, but you have to educate yourself on a risk that you're taking. And the best way for you to do that is to have a skill and money. So, you know, when you put this dollar out in your pocket and you go invest it, you know the likelihood of it come back to you, because you need to expand, right? You could cut all your expenses, but you're gonna need expenses. And as you get older, as you have a family, as things grow, your expenses are naturally going to get higher. So your income needs to grow at double that rate. And you only do that by interjecting these conversations early to get your mind in the process. Because you guys know, when you first learn something, it's basic. You're trying to understand the mechanics of it. But when you get the hang of it, you keep doing it, you start to get a little spicy, put your own mix on, you know, get your own personal way of doing it. And it's the same attitude with managing money, right? You learn the basics, you learn the mechanics, and then you can get spicy. Then you could trade options at 21 years old and make $100,000 on the options trade. Seen this plenty of times. Then you could be 21 years old and buy a house from your options trade. Okay, there was a gentleman that did that. I believe he was in New York. But it starts with having that foundation and interjecting this stuff early.
That's right. So on that note, let's go to another break, and then we'll come back with the last point number 3, on how your child can get a 6-figure net worth by age 23. You're watching Family Finance Friday with DJ the Money Coach. We'll be right back.
Your love is rated X. That means you're extra.
One of the best to ever do it.
All right. We're back with Family Finance Friday. Again, I know you're loving what you're hearing right now, so go ahead and share this video, man. Share this with all of your people that have children, nieces, nephews, young cousins, younger brothers and sisters. Share it. Tajir is dropping some gems tonight. So we got the first 2 points. Frame your child's mind to be active by encouraging them to pick up skills, teaching them to understand the value of a dollar. So Tajir, what's number 3, man?
So number three, right? Because if you want to be pretty, you want to be good, right above the standard line, you want to be good to go. Okay, I'm doing it good. You just get 1 and 2 down. But if you want to take it to the next level, then we get number 3 down. So what is number 3, you ask? So number 3 is business. We got to put the 2 together. It is a cycle that feeds into each other. First, you get the skill, and you understand the dollar, and then you turn it into business, right? And that's where we take it to the next level. And that's where we really take that 6-figure net worth and get it to 7, right? Because the first thing we do is, we already told you, number 1, you get a skill. So we're going to take a skill, right? Let's say I am a perfect artist, right? I'm great at painting, right? Number 1, I got skilled at painting, so I'm great at understanding the way paint works and how to put some paint on a poster. Number 2, I understand the value of money and I understand my dollars. And so number 3, I'm going to take and get confident and be just naive and daring enough to take my skill to the market, right? I'm going to take what I'm doing, making these paintings, and I'm going to sell them. But I'm not just going to sell them individually and do all the work myself, because then I just put myself into a nonstop job. I'm going to create a system that's scalable, right? So I'm going to say, okay, let's take me. I'm the painter. I'm the artist. I'm the expert. How do I make this business scalable? It's a couple of ways I could do that. I could paint 1 million paintings myself. I could. Or what I could do is I could take my paintings and I can get them each time I paint something, get it digitized, right? Get it digitized, put on a poster, print it on a poster, put it online, sell 30, 40 a day. Boom. I can partner with a large organization. Give me something. What's one? Calvin Klein, right? I'm a designer. I could do a custom painting and have that painting slapped on all their t-shirts. And I could have a royalty deal with them. So every time they sell a t-shirt, I'm going to make money, right? Or I can hire a whole bunch of other painters too and teach them the kind of things that we sell and create custom paintings to sell and have this system scalable. So that I took what I love, I made a system out of it, and now the system works without me having to do everything. and I can kick back and make money in my sleep, right? That's the scalability of it. Number two, with business, it teaches you how to value a deal and value a transaction, because we did the step up. Because the first, you got the skill in painting. Number two, you understood the value of money. So number three, as you're in business, you're going to learn, number one, how to buy low, sell high. So you're going to know you maybe need to not buy the super perfect porcelain wax easel that costs $90 a pop. You could probably go and get the $10 easel and put a great painting on it, put the picture online and make money. Keep your costs low, because you understand the value of your dollar will be better utilized going out and maybe getting marketing dollars or courting organizations to do bigger deals with, right? Even when we're talking about deals. For example, y'all know the show Shark Tank. Shark Tank is an amazing show to understand business. A guy went up there with a t-shirt company, and long story short, he didn't get an investment because the business just wasn't where it was to be that would solicit an investment. But one of the guys up there, one of the judges, actually said to him, you know what? I'm not going to invest in your company, but I want to buy out some of your shirts. Let me buy some of your catalog right now. He was prepared to buy everything that he had brought to the show. And the guy was emotionally hurt because they didn't invest in him. He's like, no, it's okay. It's all right. I don't want to take your money. Now, when I saw that, the first thing I thought was, if he had the program that I'm talking to you guys about right now and had these 3 steps, he would have never did that. Because if I was there, I would have said, sure, let me sell it to you right now. Why? Because number one, obviously you just made some money. But number two, this is where the value comes in, being able to value a deal in a situation. Even though he didn't get an investment, when he goes and slaps on his website after, hey, I sold my entire setup of t-shirts that I had to one of the judges on Shark Tank. Judge on Shark Tank loves my design so much he buys it right on the spot. That is a marketing tool, and it's footage, it's filmed, so it's on live TV. Take your business, and whereas people just normally scrolling who would have saw design and didn't care, but they see, oh, Kevin O'Leary bought all of these shirts on Shark Tank, they're gonna click it and they be like, oh, this is pretty cool. Something subconscious, that person is an authority or cool, you're going to do it even if you don't necessarily care about it. It's just the way the mind subconsciously works. So they could have used that as a marketing tool to then go on a Shark Tank. Whether or not they even made investment, their sales exploded for the fact that they had the confidence to go up there. So he should have sold them that and used it as a selling point. But he didn't understand how to value a deal and value a transaction, right? Or another, for example, if you're doing a deal, and let's say you're an equipment servicer, and you usually charge, let's say, $60 an hour to fix these machines. But organization with a whole bunch of machines to be serviced says they want to contract you, but maybe they don't want to pay $60 an hour. Maybe they want to pay $45 an hour. As a business person, you got to know, hey, all right, this may be my lower than my hourly rate for everything, but we have 130 machines to service. This cash flow that I'm going to make from this deal is going to be insane. I need to hop on this deal. Even though this price isn't my normal price, this is an opportunity for me to do a larger deal. And then once I do this deal at this scale, I can do this again and again. And then the next person that I do the work with, at that point, I would have raised my price because my time is more valuable. And I say, okay, hey, I normally do this for $75, but I do this for you for $65, right? So by that one transaction, even though you lowered your hourly rate that first time, now the next time you do this, you're able to increase it and keep and do it again and again. And you have it under your belt that you're able to service something of this size. Because once they get into business, right, and they understand their skill and they understand the value of money, they can start valuing the things outside of the money and value the situation, the connection, the network, just like we were talking about with college, right? Because you're spending money to go to college and you don't get paid, because this is a thing that I've noticed with a lot of my peers. I'll be like, hey, why are you not in the clubs? Why are you not talking to people? Oh, because I don't get paid to do this. I'm just here to go to school and go home. I don't care about this. I'm like, you got to value the situation around you. Yes, you're not getting paid for this. And yeah, if you sit and talk to this recruiter, you might not be able to make your job at 3 p.m. at the coffee shop, but this recruiter could get you a job within the next week or so, making triple what you're making right now. But because your mind isn't on the right things, you don't understand how to value that transaction and value that moment. All right. And then because you got a skill, you understand money. Now we're in business. You understand how to make something proprietary. When I say proprietary, what does that mean? So here's a jingle, and hopefully YouTube don't get us for this. Nationwide is on your side. Right. Now, regardless of anything else, whether you even care about insurance or you think Nationwide's insurance products are any valuable, that is what it is. But you know that jingle. The jingle is in your head. So automatically, when people think about insurance, they're going to go out and get Nationwide insurance because they got the jingle in their head, right? Same thing with Geico. You have the jingle in your head. And I brought up those because a lot of the times people take children's artistic and musical talents and say that it's frivolous or there's no value in it. But, you know, somebody wrote that jingle, made the arrangement, and did that, and they get paid every time that ad airs. A lifetime. If they did their deal right, Nick? Because, you know, they didn't do the deal right, they ain't getting nothing. But if they did the deal right, they get paid every time they did that. That's proprietary, right? And when you talk about kids that are interested in building things, interested in science, technology, right? Or even concoctions. So everybody knows about Madam C.J. Walker, but they don't know about the woman who created the formula, which allowed Madam C.J. Walker to become the first female millionaire. They don't understand. They don't know Annie Malone. Now, Annie Malone was a child, and she had a very rough childhood. Her parents died very early. They didn't have a lot of money, and then this is way back when, during major segregation. But she was a little scientist. She was constantly in the kitchen putting together concoctions, and she put together a concoction that I believe either grew back her hair or her sister's hair back after it was destroyed from the products that were being used at the time. Now, the reason why they were able to, and Annie Malone herself made a great deal of money off of that specific formula, but Madam C.J. Walker ended up taking it to the next level. But I say that to say they had something proprietary, right? That they could patent. They patent the formula, patent the invention. Cars, they patent their inventions. Biotechnology, companies that are working with tools that can help enhance our bodies and our biology, they're patenting this technology. Drug companies, they're patenting this technology. They're getting things that are proprietary that they create because they were in business for such a long time and they're an expert in their field that now they're the exclusive authority in, and they can capitalize on indefinitely. Okay. And that's how you take it up from the steps. You understand your skill, you understand money, and then you take it and turn it into a business. You grow your acumen, and then you get something proprietary. Because once it's proprietary, you have all of the access to it. And anybody that wants to have the access to it, like let's say, for example, you make an invention, but you don't have the, let's say you make this invention that you could just pour it on your arm and it removes all the hair. So now people don't got to go through the stress of shaving and all that. You put the cream on, it takes off your beard or whatever, and you're good. Now, you may not have the tools at your disposal to market this product and take it to the next level, but it's okay because you made something proprietary. So you just negotiate with the Gillettes, right, of the world, with the Neutrogenas, with the whoever's, and you tell them, hey, this is what I got. You guys want to use it? Put it in the formula, package it, sell it? Sure. Let's do a licensing deal. I license y'all my patent. You guys pay me $13 million a year, and you can use my custom formula, right? $13 million a year. You're not having conversations about going to work and being able to afford the bills and all of that. You're living your best life, but you had to get there by going through the steps because you became an expert at something. You understood money, so you understood how to value a deal and understand how you can make a deal out of this. So by the time you were 8, had enough acumen to make something proprietary, you knew how to capitalize on it. And now you are free. You won. Everybody talks about business, and I bring it up again about Mael Organic selling because a lot of people are like, oh, you know, they sold their business. You don't have to keep everything. You don't have to build the business or build the system to just keep it forever in your family, because your children may not want it. Your grandchildren may not want it. And if they grow up spoiled with money, they might run your business to the ground. It may be in your best interest to sell it, because once you sell it or you do a deal, you're free. You're free. You get to choose and do whatever you want. If you sell your business for $3 million, even $3 million, $3 million is a lot of money, but it's also not a lot of money. But if you're smart, you make $3 million, you may never have to work again. But you don't get to that step without understanding these things, and ideally early, as soon as possible, which is why this is what we're teaching in our youth program. And a way that I just described to you guys, go into extreme detail within our classes, and I show them how they can take their skills and turn them into businesses and give them business plans to do it. So this is how you get free. This is how you're able to get up and wake up and say, hey, going to the beach today. Hey, going to Paris next week. Hey, matter of fact, I'm going to Zanzibar for 2 months. This is how you live the pom-pom lifestyle, because you got proactive and you did the preliminary steps. So as a recap, you got number one. You understand and get a skill. You become an expert at something, because even if you don't want to do that one thing forever, it's the process of becoming an expert at something that you can then apply to everything else around you. 1, 2, you get them to understand the value of a dollar. So every time they spend some money, they realize what kind of decision they're really making, and they understand how investing is going to benefit their lives and put them in a place of abundance constantly. So they're not being put in bad situations and making poor economic choices, running up their credit cards, getting a whole bunch of student loan debt, and struggling. And then they understand those two, and they have the courage and the naivety to do number 3, turn it into a business, build a system that is scalable, that works, that generates income, so they can take on deals and understand how to value and leverage the deals, so they can create something that is proprietary, and proprietary meaning exclusive use to them, that has value in the marketplace, that they can lease or sell for large amounts of money, and live their pom-pom lifestyle, whatever way that is.
Amazing, beautiful.
I mean, did I miss something? Was I not clear? Let me know. We got to make the people get everything they need. Well,
I think you gave it to them. Now the only thing that we want to leave them off with is how to get them started, and what can we do for their children out there, just in case, the parents out there, they need some guidance. They don't know where to start, how to start. How can we at DJ the Money Coach team help them? So let's talk to them about that.
So you have to get them in our Young All-Stars Financial Academy, which, again, I am the president of, and I teach, because this is where we're putting all of these concepts I just spoke to in motion. We just finished up our cohort for our last group. We all left them all with business projects to go out and make money, and plans to go out and make money in real time. A lot of the students, when they first started, they had no idea about money. By one of our second to last sessions, I was talking about debt and utilizing debt to go out and start your business and how to do that properly. And I had one of the students say, but hey, wait, Mr. Green, I can't go into debt. If I go into debt, I got to pay interest every month, and that's taking money out of my pocket. Because he already got so into the concepts that he didn't understand anything about money, right? Next, same thing. By the time we're speaking about business, they're like, wait, so you're telling me I could take my business and I can partner with John, and me and John can do a partnership and we can grow together and double our sales? I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what you could do. And I was going to tell you that, but you beat me to the punch, because you're on the concepts and you've been studying and you've been learning. So now they're like, okay, so it's green. Like, so what, I should get the website. I already have the design. I found the cheap materials. This is how I can do it, so I can put it together. I'm like, yeah. we're building expertise, and they're always crazy because watching them kind of bubble and grow over time is definitely like a personal gratification for me to know that, number one, I was able to relay this message to them effectively in a way that they'd be able to receive it and do it in real time. And number two is that if nothing else, every time they do something financially, they have the wherewithal to understand if this is going to be a value add or a value subtraction from their lifestyles. But all of them are ready to get in business, and all of them know how. And actually, 2 of them are interns with us at our business right now. And they're going to see how we're doing business in real time. And that's going to help them, or we're going to help them build their businesses. And we do that all through our Young All-Stars Financial Academy, which we meet on Saturdays in the morning, notepad in hand, ready to go. And by the time they finish with the program, they're superstars. But, you know, Nick, like I said about these envelopes here,
Yep.
we don't just like to talk about it. We got to show them.
Right.
You got to show them. So, show them what our kids are able to accomplish. Nick, you need me to send you the link, or you got it?
I'm sorry. Which I'm sorry,
That is for our students for class, a class meeting.
Oh, the class. Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah. Let me just take this down. Yep, got you.
We got to show you guys.
Oh yeah.
Amazing things we're able to work with our students in class.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Come on.
Yep, let me mute myself so there's no echo.
So credit is a necessary function of our society to do anything. So you need to be able to have efficient access to credit, which is other people's money.
So if you practice in the pack and you make mistakes, then when you ask your teacher, what I do wrong here, she could tell you, and you go and take the test and you won't make those same stupid mistakes. So rehearse, plan, rehearse. And once you plan and once you rehearse, you're going to go out, and the next step is to take that step and take action.
But technically, since you have credit, access to other people's money, wouldn't that put you in debt?
It does. It does put you in debt. But there's a such thing as good debt and bad debt. So, and that was actually a great question.
Hi, my name is Dina from the All-Stars Money Program. The All-Stars Money Program is a great program. It teaches you about things you wouldn't learn in school. 2 of the things I learned is assets and investments. When I grew up, I want to be a business owner, and the program helped me understand the things I have to go through to have my business.
Hey man, that was the most beautiful thing in the world. Hearing these students talk to me back at the end of class, like, hey, these are all the things I did. I'm so excited. I know what to do now, Mr. Green. And I'm like, all right, I got you. You need me, call me, because I'm your mentor for life now, because I've taught you. And it's a beauty to see how their minds expanded. Like, hey, when I first started, I didn't know this, but now I know all these things. And now and I'm like, it's like, wow. I know the possibilities, but just to see it materialize right in front of me, I'm feeling nothing like it. And I want you guys to have that same feeling and to be able to watch your family, your children, nieces, nephews, cousins, brothers, go in, maybe not know much about financial literacy, and come out and be able to start businesses and live their best lives. Why? Because this big point we keep hopping on, the pom-pom lifestyle, plenty of money, peace of mind. You get that with freedom when you're able to make your own choices, do what you want to do, and enjoy everything life has to offer because you deserve it. But just got to put in the work. And we make it easy for you because we put it in the program. Nick, I cannot.
Oh yeah, I was still muted. I was still muted. right, so get your kids signed up for the Young All-Stars program. The link is in the chat and it's also in the video description. So go ahead and hit that link and get your children registered. You know, it's a very small investment too. You know, it's not even doesn't even cost. It's not even a big investment. I'm not going to use the C word. It's not a big investment. It's a small investment. You know, for your children's future. So
Right.
Yep, get them locked in there.
Right.
So Tajir, you got the last word, and then I'll say goodnight to the people. So anything else you want to lead the people with before we get out of here?
I got you. So just to reinforce the points, you guys, it's about getting these understandings and getting this stuff in early. Because when you know early, you're able to take it to the next heights, right? The pioneer of something, always, whenever you're a pioneer of something, you have to know the pioneer only gets but so far. But once you pioneer it and you pass the baton on to the next person, they go double where you've gone because you've already done the preliminary steps, and then so on and so on. And it's the same way in yourself when you do something. Once you start doing something the first time and you learn it and you do it well, that thing may not pan out, but you move on to the next thing. And the next thing, you already know the preliminary steps. So you take that all the way to the next level. And it's the same thing as they apply it in their lives about understanding money. Once they get this stuff from when they're young, you don't lose it, right? You don't lose this. You might lose your physique if you're an expert sports player, right? You might lose your body and all of that, but you don't lose this. And once they get these concepts, they're locked in and they're going to apply that to everything in their lives. And you guys have an opportunity to build that for them and get them a 6-figure net worth starting at only $49. So, I mean, that's a no-brainer. You guys have to invest in your futures, get proactive, and get on these things now. Because like I said, they're going to do something with money. But is it good or is it bad? You decide.
There it is. And drop the microphone on that, man. Thanks, Tajir, for coming on and
thank you, Nick, for having me.
Yep, sharing that information with our families out there about how to get their children set for the future. And shout outs to the rest of the DJ the Money Coach team. And on behalf on the team captain, DJ the Money Coach, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Family Finance Friday. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. And we wish you a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind. Come join us on the Beaches of the World Club. And as we said in the beginning, tonight's beach is getting your child to a 6-figure net worth by age 23. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody.
Toledo Organic Tequila is so crisp, so incredibly smooth. It's simply in a category by itself. This is luxury. Light tastes better naturally, so should your tequila. This is Toledo. Enjoy responsibly. Visit ToledoTequila.com to get your bottle of Toledo Organic Tequila. Get a 10% discount on DJ the Money Coach by entering promo code MONEY at checkout. Again, that's ToledoTequila.com, promo code MONEY to get 10% off your Toledo purchase.
So credit is a necessary function of our society to do anything. So you need to be able to have efficient access to credit, which is other people's money.
So if you practice in the pack and you make mistakes, then when you ask your teacher what I do wrong here, she could tell you, and you go and take the test and you won't make those same stupid mistakes. So rehearse, plan, rehearse. And once you plan and once you rehearse, you're going to go out, and the next step is to take that step and take action.
But technically, since you have access to other people's money, wouldn't that put you in debt?
It does. It does put you in debt, but there's a such thing as good debt and bad debt. So, and that was actually a great question.
Hi, my name is Dana from the All Stars Money Program. The All Stars Money Program is a great program. It teaches you about things you wouldn't learn in school. Two of the things I learned is assets and investments. When I grew up, I want to be a business owner, and the program helped me understand like the things I have to go through to like have my business.